Next on Weather Underground, we have extended coverage as dangerous storms threaten the south once again. We are breaking down the timing for you, pinpointing the locations that are at greater risk for you. These storms could have damaging winds, big hail, and even tornadoes.
And of course, we're also closely watching Florida for the second day in a row. We're going to show you where strong and potentially severe thunderstorms are battling portions of that state and when that threat can shift even farther south through the Sunshine State. Plus, it's another weekend and another weekend storm system to track. We'll show you who's in the bullseye for more heavy rain and rumbles of thunder all the way through Sunday.
And our countdown to hurricane season continues tonight. Hurricane expert Dr. Rick Knabb explains how and when evacuations are called. Important information you need, and it's next on Weather Underground. Thanks very much for staying with us tonight here on Weather Underground, with you for an extra hour to cover severe storms tonight. I'm meteorologist Mike Bettis, joined by our storm specialist Mark Elliott. Mark, you're all over this. New tornado warnings have been issued.
Yeah, you know, it's deja vu all over again. If people were watching on Wednesday, it was a triple point, meaning the intersection of the low, cold front or dry line, as Wednesday's case was. The warm front was there as well. And storms that followed along that warm front all started rotating again together. So this was Wednesday's storms in Medill, Oklahoma. Big tornadoes, potentially at least an EF2 here, preliminarily rated EF2. And now, in many of these same areas on either side of the Red River, we have tornado warnings again. So let's get into that setup. Here is that area of low pressure. There's our triple point right in here where all those different fronts and the area of low pressure meet up. And storms are going to follow along this front, a built-in wind shift right there. That's why we have the tornado watch basically along that warm front and points south. That goes until midnight. And within this area now, 3 different tornado warnings all lined up together. So let's take a little bit of a breather. Let's get into this. We'll go north to south to make sure that you stay safe as these storms are rolling along the Red River. This farthest one to the north has a history of huge hail. We're talking baseball-size hail. Now showing some pretty clear signs of rotation as well in Bryan County. This tornado warning goes until 7:45. Here's our rotation where the reds and greens are right next to each other. That's our counterclockwise spin. The best area of rotation is right in here. As for debris, there's a dropout there as well that we're not seeing all red in that area. So this may very well be a, you know, hopefully just light leaf debris or something getting lofted off the trees, but potential tornado here. There is something spinning and there is debris of some kind that's non-meteorological in that same area. Again, the history of hail, big-time hail with that supercell. Sliding just barely off to the south. Now we're on the Texas side of things into Fannin and Lamar. You really got to know your counties here because there are 2 kind of overlapping supercells. These are both rotating. And again, in that spot of best rotation, there is a dropout on the correlation coefficient, suggesting that we may have a bit of debris being lofted into the air, even as we're pretty far away from this storm system. That's something that we need to watch. Here's a look at that, where that best rotation is, right in here. It matches up perfectly with the dropout on the correlation coefficient. And we also need to look just a little bit off towards the south and east through other portions of Lamar County, where we also have a tornado warning until 7:45. The rotation here is very strong depending on which Doppler radar site you're looking at. Again, we're pretty far from the different sites. So from the Dallas area, here's our rotation, basically right over the Howland area. And as for debris here, I think there's a dropout in this zone as well, right here. So gosh, all 3 of these have some sort of changeable view when you're looking at this. If this were all meteorological, if it was all very heavy rain with some hail mixed in, it would be all this kind of red color with a little bit of that kind of yellow to green. These are all in the right spot where the rotation is, suggesting some form of debris. So these are dangerous storms that are making their way on off towards the east. Let's time this out for you. Again, a little bit difficult because there's 3 of these. So let's go one at a time. Here's the southernmost storm that's near the Howland area right now. Will then come towards Atlas in about 5 to 10 minutes, Clardley by about 7:22, and getting towards Milton right about at 7:30. The storm that's in the middle the third in the row will be heading towards Selfs imminently, Sumner by 7:25, and getting towards Paris by about 7:30. And finally, that northern storm, which is quite strong and showing signs of a little bit of a donut hole even on this mode of the radar, towards New Oberlin by about 7:15 and Razor by 7:30. So very dangerous storms, the middle of which is the one that has a confirmed tornado on it, believe it or not. So that was the one that's kind of hardest to see on our radar sites. But this storm right here, again, that's portions of Lamar, has that tornado warning, Fannin and Lamar, tornado warning, and a confirmed tornado on this storm that's right in the middle of the three. I think all three of these may have tornadoes in progress. Please seek shelter, putting as many walls between you and the storm as possible. A new update on our northern storm as it is turning towards the right a bit. That warning for Bryan County. Notice the shape on this. Instead of going kind of this way, as some of the other warnings have been doing, it's now pointed like this. That storm has turned on its axis quite considerably. We can actually watch that happen. Let's look at the loop here. Here comes that storm dropping this way, and suddenly it's now going more south. And so that's an important component here. It's following along the warm front. Remember, that warm front is draped in this area. It's staying in the unstable air. It's staying in that zone of best rotation. And so another sign that this storm as well may very well be rotating. A very strong rotation couplet on all of these now. All three of these with a strong rotation signature, and if you look at the correlation coefficient, I think this is a scan behind. That could be debris, and we're probably going to see that jump on off towards the east as that new scan comes through. We were waiting for this very thing. Again, a tornado watch is in place across this very area until midnight. And the reason for that is that we have just the unfortunately perfect setup for the different winds with height through the atmosphere. Here are our surface winds coming up from the south, or maybe even a little bit southeast, but very strong winds aloft at about 5,000 feet up. So still the low levels of the environment, low enough that our storms at the surface can tap into that. Look at that different wind direction. Goodness, on either side of the Red River, then into northeast Texas, portions of Arkansas and northern Louisiana, they all have that shift. So now let's take a live look at some of these storms. This is on the Oklahoma side, I believe it is, and what we're seeing here in Twin Oaks, Oklahoma, is a bit of that front edge. We've got a shelf cloud approaching. You can see that the anvil up at the top left of your screen, and then you're looking kind of underneath that front edge of the gustiest winds back into the distance where there's all kinds of lightning, just a constant lightning threat across the Twin Oaks area of Oklahoma. And that's going to be part of the threat tonight as well. Just really heavy rain, huge hailstones. These are, these are supercells. They have rotating updrafts. That's going to support that huge hail aloft. And when these storms collapse, boy, does all that water crash back on down to the surface. Let's zoom out just a little bit so you can get your bearings here. We've got this line of storms that's all the way from the northeast side of Oklahoma down in towards McAllister. Then a little bit of a break, which makes sense because our area of low pressure is right about here. Warm front extending from that diagonally down all the way towards Shreveport. And these storms are riding along the warm front, and that's what's helping to give them that extra spin. And that's why we have three all lined up in a row, three different supercells, all with tornado warnings at this point. Going north to south for you one more time. On the Oklahoma side, we've got Bryan County tornado warning until 7:45. Just over the river, we've got a strong rotating signature for Fannin and Lamar, tornado warning also until 7:45, and a very strong signature here in the rest of Lamar County just south of Paris. That goes until 7:45. Sometimes this lower, we call it the tail end Charlie, the storm that's all on its own to the south that can tap into the rest of the environment off to the south without too much other storm kind of outflow getting in its way, really takes off. And when you look at that inflow, you can see a notch right in here. That's our inflow notch. The rain-cooled air will then wrap back around, and you wind up with this, this hook signature, and where the tornado sits is generally right in that intersection of the different wind directions. So you look at our rotation and it's right there, the reds, and in this case the yellows, right next to each other, a very strong signature of rotation on this southernmost storm. And then when you look at the potential for debris in this area, it also clearly matches up. This is a scary site just south of Paris. Pretty sure that there is a tornado that is ongoing somewhere just south of Paris, headed generally towards the Clarksville area. It may start to bend south more towards Biardstown or Bogota as opposed to staying towards Clarksville, especially with a strong rotation signature like we have. For any of these, if you're on either side of the Red River, get into your safe spot now. Underground shelter if you have one. If not, you're talking the lowest level of your building, the most interior room in that lowest level, putting as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Unfortunately, Mike, this was exactly what we were waiting for, a higher potential for severe weather, including tornadoes, exactly where all these storms have now blossomed in, and where you have several tornado warnings all in a row.
Right. We're going to stay on top of that. Mark, thanks so much for the update. Want to let people know that there is a severe weather risk that does go into the day tomorrow as well. A few areas of concern will be across the Tennessee Valley now. Nashville will be within that. Knoxville, Atlanta, potentially even a Charlotte and a Raleigh could be affected for the day on Saturday. So if you have plans to be outside, definitely keep a very close eye on the radar. That's a look at the future radar, and you can see from mid-morning on, we're going to have rain and storms hitting us here. And some of those storms could get very, very interesting as we go later in the day. Some of them could be severe. That would include East Tennessee, Eastern Kentucky, in through the Carolinas, and then eventually spreading their way up through the mid-Atlantic as well. Heavy rain could pour out of all of these storms, and that's why we think that flooding is going to be an ongoing concern for us through the Ohio Valley, especially, say, at Paducah, through Louisville, then up toward Columbus or Charleston, West Virginia. So, again, if you've got to be on the roadways, be extra careful, watch your speed, be careful of hydroplaning. All right, let's time this out for you then. Overnight Saturday and Sunday, watch how these storms then rotate their way up through the mid-Atlantic. I-95 from D.C. to Baltimore, Philly, New York. Could be looking for storms on Sunday, middle of the day. And even overnight Sunday into Monday now, we're looking for storms to continue up through New England. Maybe pulling back on the severe aspect of it, but heavy rain could certainly be in play. And so could some snow, believe it or not. You see the blue on the map there with some higher elevation snow back in the forecast. Large area where we think a 1 to 2 inch rainfall is very possible. Some locations where 2 to 3, if not more, could be a problem. Illinois in particular right now, the models are hinting that that could be a hot spot for some rain. And as we mentioned, the snow is going to happen at the higher elevations where you could see as much as 8 to 12 inches of snow. So a lot happening for us here as that entire system works its way up into the northeast. I believe we're going to go back to, well, let me get, real quick, I want to get you that forecast for us in Syracuse, that we've got a chilly weather coming in, temperatures only in the 40s through the weekend, but rain, not snow. The snow is going to stay farther north, and again, the higher elevations end up getting that snow. But typically this time of year, heavy or wet snow tends to melt relatively quickly as compared to what we would see in the wintertime. All right, now let's get back to storm specialist Mark Elliott. Got a line on those tornado warnings in the plains.
Yeah, tornado watch goes until midnight, but all 3 of the tornado warnings on either side of the Red River for southern Oklahoma and North Texas now have that observed tag on them, whether it's because of spotters in the area seeing tornadoes with these 3 different supercells, 1 on the Oklahoma side, 2 on the Texas side, or if they're using the technology to confirm that there is some sort of debris being lofted into the air. All 3 of these warnings now with a tornado in progress. Let's go north to south. We'll try to keep you as safe as possible tonight in case you or your loved ones are in these communities. We've got Bryan County on the Oklahoma side with a tornado warning that continues until 7:45. Here's a look at that rotation. A little bit hard to see from the vantage point that we're in, but very strong rotation in the mid-levels of the storm, and it appears that there may be some debris lofted into the mid-levels of the storm, because in an area that should be all red because of heavy rain in the area, we're seeing a pretty distinct dropout with the yellows and greens, suggesting something that is not a raindrop or a hailstone in the sky. Number 2 in the row is on the Texas side, Fannin and Lamar. A tornado warning continues here, also till 7:45. You're getting the theme here. Here's our strong rotation couplet, where the green colors are going towards the radar site and the red is away, so that is our counterclockwise spin. And in that area of best spin, we also have quite the dropout. We're at least the potential for some non-meteorological stuff up in the sky. We can hope that it is leaves as opposed to buildings, but we can't rule that out at this point. And finally, a very strong storm on the southern side of Lamar. In Paris, we actually have a live view for you. That is, I believe, the tornado that is going through the area. This has a very clear dropout on the correlation coefficient. So this is hitting something. This storm tracker is somewhere near Paris, probably on the south side of Paris, and looking then back north towards Paris, near this tornado-warned storm. Tornado warning goes until 7:45, and it is likely that there is a tornado kind of shrouded within some rain there. Tough to see. It may be with that area on the left side of your screen. That is the tornado, and the right side is all very heavy rain and hail. In either case, a likely tornado there in Lamar County.
For over 75 years, people have saved money with Geico. Sorry.
Here we go from the top, and action.
For over 75 years, people have saved money with Gecko.
Cut it.
What did I say? Gecko. I said Gecko. Oh. For over 75 years...
Keep it together.
I'm good. For over 70... What are you doing there? Stop making me laugh.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Don't look at me.
Together, we can do this. Our spirit is what unites us. It is what bonds us and reminds us we are all one. Which is why if you need a vehicle during this time, we are offering 0% financing for 84 months with no payments for 90 days. And the ability to shop and buy from the safety of your home. Better days are ahead, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram will help you drive forward.
Love. It's what we've always said makes Subaru, Subaru. And right now, love is more important than ever. In response to COVID-19, Subaru and our retailers are donating 50 million meals to Feeding America, to help feed those who now need our help. It's all part of our commitment to our communities through Subaru Loves to Help. Love. It's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
With Dish, you get the Hopper. It lets you record up to 16 shows at once.
See you in the morning. Okay, bye. Sounds great.
Because more shows can help you make the most of the perfect girls' night in.
Dish, tuned in to you.
Hey, Boston.
Hey, Atlanta.
Hola, Miami.
Local Now is here for you.
Hi, New York. Hey, LA. Chicago.
To get you through life's new normal.
Hey, America.
Trust me, you're going to love this. Come on.
2 tablespoons of sugar.
But kind of near average.
This is the place to be.
Something for everyone. Local Now. Download for free in your favorite app store.
Breathe freely fast with Vicks Sinex.
My congestion's gone.
I can breathe again! I can breathe again! Oh.
Vicks Sinex. Breathe on.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero Binoculars with laser illumination technology for just $39.99. You'll also get a protective carrying case, yours free. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling Atomic Beam flashlight, just pay separate fee.
We'll even ship them to you free.
You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-790-9910. That's 1-800-790-9910. Or visit buynighthero.com. That's buynighthero.com. Order now.
To get the most out of your mornings, you need to know what weather is heading your way. Wake up watching AMHQ. Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 49 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 41. Winds north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 62. North winds shifting to south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, showers later at night. Low 47. Chance of rain 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Underground, where just barely moments ago, outside of Paris, Texas, storm trackers in the area providing us this view. What you're looking at here is the ragged wall cloud. This is all rain over here. That is not the tornado, but coming out of the center of that, you see how there's even another lowering. Tough to pick out at times because there's some tree cover. I think that's an important part of this story to keep in mind. There's a lot of tree cover in this part of North Texas, but right in here, you see that? That is probably a tornado, probably making it all the way to the ground. It is certainly a very low base for that wall cloud. Here's the rest of the storm, and then this is all rain, and so it's obscuring the view of the clouds. But you got the rain-free base here. There's our lowered wall cloud, and right in the center, you're seeing that potential for a tornado. Here is a look at the radar across the area. That is the storm we're watching, Lamar County, and we can now go back to our storm trackers in the area because that tornado warning continues until 7:45. There's a look at that wall cloud again, that lowered wall cloud, and potentially again right behind some trees. There may be a tornado there. So we've got our wall cloud that has dropped down from the rest of the base of the storm, and we are also looking at this kind of the center of that wall cloud for what could be at times a funnel. It's certainly a rotating wall cloud right in here. You can see just from this vantage point that that's our rotating wall cloud. Here's the the rest of the base of the storm. At times, dropping from this have been funnels. I don't actually see one at the moment, so hopefully we can say that we don't have an active tornado at this very second, but things change quickly, and that may be a new funnel dropping down right in this portion of that lowered wall cloud. These things are so dynamic. They're fluid. They're always moving. They're always rotating and changing, and so moment to moment, the views can dramatically change. And, from this vantage point, even if we don't see the cloud, the condensation funnel getting all the way down to the surface, we can't see the surface. There's trees in the way. There's a distance problem. And so the circulation may actually be all the way down to the ground, and we wouldn't be able to tell you from here. Using the Doppler radar system, we've seen what is likely debris being lofted into the air. And so we know that these have been active storms tonight. And this is a very, classic presentation of a supercell thunderstorm with that lowered wall cloud. It seems to be a little bit separated now from the rest of the storm, so that's not necessarily the best mode of getting tornadoes to form. What we do know is that we have these several supercells all in a row. I'll show you the radar on the right side of your screen. The northern storm is still on the Oklahoma side. That is Bryan County, and we know that there is strong rotation with that. That's actually crossing over the river right now, that green and red area that's right on top of the river, and currently no clear sign of debris from that storm. Now we go into the Texas side of things, getting closer to the storm that we're looking at. This for Fannin and Lamar, tornado warning continuing, strong rotation, basically where that yellow line and the red line are real close to each other west of Paris. So in Paris, you got to watch that storm carefully. It's headed in your direction, and a questionable kind of dropout zone that could be tornadic debris. And finally, this is the storm that we've been looking at just south of Paris, the rest of Lamar County, including Blossom, Paris, and Reno. This storm has had strong rotation. You see that on the southern side of this warning, where those yellows and greens are right next to each other, right here. So that has been the rotation. It has been very strong at times. Let me move this back just a little bit, and you can see just how strong that rotation was as it's bending not only to the east but also to the south, turning right off that forward motion, and now getting back to where we are at now. It's still strong, maybe not as put together as it was even a few moments ago. And right now, there's still at least a questionable dropout zone on the correlation coefficient, suggesting some debris. But look at where it was a few moments ago with that really clear dropout zone on the correlation coefficient. What the correlation coefficient is looking for is symmetrical objects, you know, pixel to pixel, scan to scan, east to west, north to south, up and down and left to right. And when that happens, when it's all symmetrical, the Doppler radar says, okay, that's a raindrop or that's a hailstone, and it's pretty clear that we have meteorological stuff in the air. When it's not the same width left to right or up and down, pixel to pixel, that's because there's something else in the sky that's tumbling around. And think about, you know, a shingle. 1 second it'll be longest left to right, and the next second it'll be longest north to south or up and down. That gives us the dropout on the correlation. They're not correlated in that way. So there was some sort of debris on the south side of Paris. Let's bring this back to where we're at now, and this might just be leftover debris falling out of the sky. And let's hope, because as we look in the left side of your screen again, there does not seem to be a tornado dropping down from that wall cloud. We have a very strong supercell with rotation and probably a rotating wall cloud at that, but no clear sign of a tornado at the moment. That said, these storms all have a history of producing tornadoes. So this is the same storm from a different view, even clearer view of that lowered wall cloud, and where we don't have any connection down to the surface. And let's hope it stays that way. Let's hope that tornado threat is at least momentarily ending. It's why it's so important to have spotters in the area, because if you were just using the radar, you'd say, oh man, very strong rotation just southeast of Bardstown, probably a tornado continuing. But spotters in the area, talking to the National Weather Service, are looking at this and saying, no, we can see the whole horizon. There is no tornado right now, but there could be one soon, so stay tuned tonight.
Service isn't just a department. It's a voice on the other end of the phone.
A note to say you're on our mind. A willingness to come to you.
The world and how we interact with each other is changing, but that will never change who we are at Lexus.
Now, more than ever, you and your needs come first.
Find out what service options are available in your area at lexus.com/people first.
We're open and ready to help your small business any way we can. Every ink for small business. And of course, shipping. TheUPSStore.com.
Hi, I'm Lolly, a Domino's franchisee.
As you can see, we're open and working hard to safely keep putting food on people's tables.
And we could use your help doing that.
If getting some full or part-time work during these tough times could help you.
Domino's is hiring.
Head to jobs.domino's.com
and apply today. Because we're not only committed to putting food on people's tables,
we're committed to helping you put food on your table.
Yeah. Little choices make a big difference. Like delicious fruits and veggies. However you healthy. Naked.
Buick and GMC are here to help. For our customers, that means helping you stay at home. That's why we've made it possible for you to shop online with Shop Click Drive, and you may even be able to schedule your certified service appointment online from home. For our healthcare professionals who are doing so much to keep us safe, we are introducing a special discount to thank you for all that you do. These are unprecedented times, Buick and GMC are here to help.
I am Robert Strickler. I've been involved in communications in the media for 45 years. I've been taking Prevagen on a regular basis for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly, and I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
I just love hitting the open road and telling people that Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
And thank you for being with us tonight right here on Weather Underground as we track severe weather for you, including tornado-warned storms in Texas. Taking a look at Port Texas here, where we've got a rotating wall cloud, and we've had numerous tornado warnings issued with these storms. Right now, you're taking a live look at Charles Peak's live camera, and you can see that we've got it firmly focused on the area where a tornado would form, and at any moment, one could form. We've seen, at least on the radar, indications that has happened, even debris being detected by the radar. Want to get right to storm specialist Mark Elliott. Mark, you've been watching these storms really closely. The radar and the live pictures that we're getting are matching up pretty well.
Yeah, and a strong rotation at times with all of these storms basically on either side of the Red River. It is part of a complex that actually stretches all the way into northern Oklahoma. Less rotation potential here. I stand corrected now, all the way into southern Missouri and the Springfield area, getting the same line of storms with severe winds and severe thunderstorm warnings being issued there. All kinds of constant lightning with that band to the north. To the south, though, we have a lot more spin in the environment, and that has helped to give us tornado potential here. Not only straight line wind potential, but also tornadic potential. Tornado watch continues across this area until midnight. In this area for Fannin and Lamar, one warning is currently covering 2 different supercells that both have rotation and potential tornadoes. One is right here and one is right here. If you're in Paris, we got to really carefully monitor this storm that's just west from you. At times it has kind of eased up on that rotation. In fact, the one that's north of town, northwest of you, has a much better rotation couplet at this point, where the reds and greens are right next to each other. The one due west from town, not as well put together, at least as seen by this particular Doppler radar. That said, we can see if any debris is being lofted into the air, and it's that north one. That north one is more worrisome. So let's go back just a bit, and we'll, put this in a loop just a little, so you can see this storm approaching, and it may actually come towards the Paris area as well. It's dropping down towards the south and east. So let's put a little bit of a timer on that, so you can get an idea as to when this storm may be coming towards you in Paris, because I think it could very well drop in from the north side. This is not the storm that's giving you the rain and the lightning and the wind now. That one is also tornado potential. However, in Sumner, about 5-10 minutes from now, and Paris, just before the top of the hour, we could have a tornado headed your way, and it does appear that there is still some debris being lofted into the sky just south of the Red River and headed in this direction. Again, here's that rotation couplet where the reds and greens are right next to each other, and it corresponds very nicely to where we have the potential for some debris. Then we've been following this storm on the south side of Paris. This is Lamar County, where we have a tornado warning until 7:45. I think the best rotation is actually right here. You see how we have that little lack of rain, that donut hole, that is because we have very strong inflow air coming in this way and wrapping back around the storm, and so we actually have the rain kind of centrifuged around and not going right into the center. That's where the best rotation is, right where we have that little donut without much rain. And that's also where we have the potential for some debris, although it does not look to be as kind of dramatic a dropout. So hopefully this is just stuff that's still in the air from when we think there was debris earlier. In fact, earlier we had some video from this storm, this southernmost storm in the line, and if you look at this right here in the center of your screen, you can see that we've got a little notch coming down from that wall cloud, a little triangle, and then maybe some debris all the way down near that tree line. It's very tough to see from this vantage point, but right in here is that lowering. This is all the wall cloud in here, so we've got a lowering right in the center of that, and then potentially some debris, a debris cloud somewhere in here. There's also a lot of moisture in the air, and so that could be a little bit of just rain wrapping around our tornadic circulation. But I do think that there was something right in there, something being a tornado dropping down from that that storm. It's a very dangerous air mass and atmosphere. A couple of different reasons for that right now as we look at the low-level winds. What a bullseye, right? For the winds and where these storms formed, right? We knew we had this little impulse rotating through, but as they interacted with those stronger winds just aloft, boom, they really took off. And so we wound up with these tornadic cells on either side of the Red River. This different wind component with height as well is also what is giving us our rotation. We know we have a warm front there that is enhancing the spin. We know that we have these different winds with height enhancing the spin. That is why that potential is still high for more tornadoes all the way through this evening into tonight. Tornado Watch continues until midnight, and we'll give you live views right here on the Weather Channel.
Honda has always believed in the power of dreams. But right now, we believe in the power of something greater, the power of being there for those who need it most. Because the way we'll get through this is by remembering to care for each other and never forgetting the power of dreams.
When the present is unpredictable, it's important to stay focused on the future. Personalized, goal-based financial advice can help you navigate today while still staying on track for your long-term financial goals tomorrow. At Ameriprise Financial, that's what we've done for over 125 years, and what our advisors will continue to do for generations to come. Ameriprise Financial.
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. Another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. What's in your wallet?
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now there's Skyrizi.
Things are getting clearer. Yeah, I feel free to bare my skin. Yeah, that's all me. Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin. That's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Keep your skin clearer with Skyrizi. 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. Of those, nearly 9 out of 10 sustained it through 1 year. And Skyrizi is 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
I see nothing in a different way. And it's my moment, so I just gotta say. Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi.
I'm your mother-in-law, and I like to question your every move, like this left turn.
It's the next one.
You always drive this slow.
How did you make someone I love?
That must be why you're always so late.
I do not speed, and that's saving me cash with DriveWise.
You always drive like an old lady?
You're an old lady.
Watching severe storms for you tonight, including tornado-warned storms. This is a live look at Pattonville, Texas, where we've had tornado warnings right along the Texas and Oklahoma state line. And past the trees, boy, you can get a pretty good view of a really ominous storm here from some of the storm trackers that are out there right now. Some of these storms have had these low-hanging, rotating wall clouds, and they just seem at any moment they could produce a tornado. We take you to DePort, Texas, where we've had hail, tons of lightning here. On this shot from Charles Peak, we were watching a low-hanging wall cloud here. But be careful, folks, if you're out and about this evening or you have plans to be careful of the heavy rain, the hail, and of course the lightning is going to be out there. Not to mention this area under a tornado watch for the next several hours. Storm specialist Mark Elliott has been all over it on the radar. What are you seeing right now, Mark?
Oh, man, this is a highly electrified line of storms that's dropping down through eastern Oklahoma and then ties to that same complex of storms that and also has a rotating environment in North Texas. Let me show you the Pattonville area right now, because this area is one of those under a tornado warning. Look at that lowered wall cloud. It looks like something out of sci-fi, right? That is a lowered base dropping down from the rest of this supercell thunderstorm. And if there's going to be a tornado, it is then a small component coming out of that wall cloud area right in there. And so we've got all this heavy rain, this dark color back towards the left side of your screen. That's all rain. This is our lowered wall cloud. And if you're going to have a tornado, it would be generally coming out of that rain-free base somewhere in that component of the storm. That really shows you the scale of these kinds of storms. They're huge supercells, and then you get these tornadoes that are generally a small component of them, and yet that's what does all the damage. That's what tears up life and property, and what we're spending so much time focusing in on right now. Even driving down the road, you can see the kind of the rotating component of that wall cloud. It is rotating kind of left to right, and circling around here, one big loop like that. And I don't see a tornado at the moment. That is the good news. But magnificent storm structure there and the potential for a tornado at just about any point. So this is the Pattonville, Texas area. Several different tornado warnings all in a row. And honestly, if you are in Paris, you had a threat just miss you to the south. Now you have a threat incoming from the north, and because of the turning of these storms, we're actually seeing these kind of overlapping tornado warnings that'll make it a little bit more complicated. But the one that we're watching is this one right in here from the Red River and then diagonally south and east towards Paris. This one is important because it has a very strong couplet, a rotation couplet, where the green colors now are going off towards the north and east, towards that beam that you see sweeping across the screen, towards the radar site, red away. And so our counterclockwise spin is right in there. And if you're going to have a tornado, it's within that kind of spin zone. And that's also where we have a little bit of a dropout zone on the radar. So when you put all that together, and you continue that motion off towards the south and east, it means that Paris, first Sumner basically right now, and then Paris could have this tornado coming towards you just before the top of the hour, sometime between 7:50 and 8 o'clock. So you got 10 to 20 minutes before this storm arrives in the area. And again, there could still be some debris with this storm as it approaches. Then we've got this big storm that we've been following down towards the south, and a brand new tornado warning as we continue to follow that storm. This is now Franklin, Red River, and Titus counties. I was calling out many of these same counties for you this time on Wednesday, because this is almost verbatim where the tornadic storms were 2 days ago. And again, it looks like we have the potential for a tornado. This is not being called a confirmed tornado, because these are this is the storm that we're giving you the views of on the left side of your screen. And with views like this, we're relatively confident that there isn't a tornado at the moment. But when you have such a distinct lowering, a rotating wall cloud, you can get a tornado to drop out of that at just about any point. And using the technology, we know we have a very strong rotation center right about here, due west of the Talco area, right in here where the reds and greens are right next to each other. This storm is also dropping towards the east with a little bit of a southerly component. And the closer it gets to that warm front, I think the farther south it is going to bend to stay in that kind of warm and unstable side of the warm front. The rotation actually just got significantly stronger due west of Talco. Let's leave a circle on the map here where we have some of that rotation and then switch this over to the correlation coefficient. Again, looking for that potential dropout zone. Questionable. I think this may be a scan back. I am worried that as this approaches the Talco area, that we may have a tornado trying to form again on that, the southwest side of the storm. So let's time out the worst of the rotation, basically on that southern third of the warning, coming towards Talco again just before the top of the hour. So both Paris and Talco could be at play just before 8 o'clock local time. Maple Springs just after the top of the hour. Then, if it holds together in this direction, Cookeville by about 8:30. Let's take one more look, full screen for you at that view from our storm trackers who are on this very storm. They're looking at the storm, the southern storm in the mix near Pattonville, Texas. And as we pass by these trees, you will see that distinct lowered wall cloud is just off to the left side of your screen. You could see glimmers of that white cloud. That is the lowered wall cloud. Coming out of that at any point could be a new tornado headed generally towards the Talco area of North Texas. We're just a little bit south of the Red River. Dangerous storms tonight, continuing to move east with a little bit of a southerly component as well. Remember, tornado watch continues all the way until midnight. Keep it tuned here for these live views of the storms.
These are the blind faithful, the dripping with drive, forward-thinking, un-9-to-5ers. They don't take the road less traveled. They forge their own roads. They dream wildly. They make bravely. These are the way forgers. This is how they forge their way.
You may not see them, but your itchy eyes know they're out there. Thousands of allergens in each cubic yard of air. No wonder you rub your eyes hundreds of times a day. But now, relief is just one drop away. Introducing Pataday. Full prescription strength Pataday works right in your eyes, right on the cells that make them itch. Fast, just one drop once a day means relief that lasts all day. So turn your day into a Pataday. Now get Pataday without a prescription. Everywhere.
Love. It's what we've always said makes Subaru, Subaru. And right now, love is more important than ever. In response to COVID-19, Subaru and our retailers are donating 50 million meals to Feeding America to help feed those who now need our help. It's all part of our commitment to our communities through Subaru Loves to Help. Love. It's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
People love the Hurricane, the #1 selling cane from coast to coast.
I love my Hurricane.
I love how secure I feel with my Hurricane.
They love how it helps them walk safely on any surface. And they love how it stands on its own. They love how it folds and unfolds in seconds.
I love my Hurricane.
Order your Hurricane at our legendary low price with a 100% money-back guarantee plus free shipping. Go to hurricane.com. That's hurricane.com. Also available at these fine retailers.
This is Kate.
Hey.
She takes 2 prescriptions. Kate's son Jack takes one too. Kate works hard and thought she had good insurance. but she still pays too much. That's no good. So Kate downloaded the GoodRx app. Now she can compare prescription prices to find the best discounts. She even beats her insurance price. Good for you, Kate. Good for you. GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
To get the most out of your mornings, you need to know what weather is heading your way. Wake up watching AMHQ. Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 49 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 41. Winds north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 62. North winds shifting to south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, showers later at night. Low 47. Chance of rain 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And welcome back to Weather Underground as we are following some dangerous storms tonight in an area that was forecast to do exactly this, really ramp up as the sun is setting. Those low-level winds picking up as the sun sets, giving just enough spin in the atmosphere. A very electrified storm system from Springfield to just outside Fort Smith, where there's a little bit of an extra spin as well and a whole lot of lightning. So keep that in mind. Fort Smith, got to watch those storms carefully off to your west. However, stealing the show tonight are these storms just south of the Red River now on the Texas side of the Texas-Oklahoma border. Several supercell thunderstorms, many of which have produced likely tornadoes so far the past hour or so, and they've kind of been doing that ebb and flow thing. This one approaching Paris has collapsed considerably, and let's hope it stays that way, because my goodness, it was making a beeline towards the town, and now just north of town because that rotation has eased, and so the motion to the right of its forward progress has ended. So instead of continuing to curl south, it has now kind of flattened out just north of town. All of that is good news if you live in Paris. Maybe bad news if you're just north of town because you've got a strong storm on the north side. The rotation is much weaker now with that particular storm system and no longer showing any signs of debris. However, we can look at a very strong storm south and east of there. This is Franklin, Red River, and Titus counties. Tornado warning continues for you until 8:45. When you look at this mode of the radar, it just looks like a mess, right? Heavy rain for everybody, embedded hail in these pink colors. But there are some hints that there's a little bit of a rotation right in there. And so let's take a look at the motion of the raindrops. And it's a little bit blocked by the 271 placard. So let me move the map around just a bit, give you a better view. Right in here, we've got that connection of the reds and greens right next to each other. This is also looking a little bit less potent as even just a couple of moments ago. Let's step this back just a little bit, and you can see just how strong that rotation was when you had the greens and the blues right here. And that, stepped forward a little bit closer to now, was still quite strong. And then this is the latest scan, so that's still our rotation. We know we have a rotating wall cloud here. There are spotters in the area that are giving us those reports and saying that there's not a tornado at the moment, but that there could be at just about any point. As for debris, none, because there's no tornado in this area at the moment. But again, a difficult setup when you know that you can have these storms kind of ebb and flow and change just how potent they are at just about any point across this zone. So again, I mentioned that area towards Fort Smith. Severe thunderstorm warnings all down this line. But even from here, you see that surge forward and then almost like a comma head, it wraps back in. And so I want to take a little bit of a closer look on that storm just because Fort Smith is so close to this area. It's right along I-40. And through Salisaw, you've had that straight line winds. But right up here, where it kind of wraps back in on itself, sometimes you can get little sneaky spin-up tornadoes on those types of signatures as well. And look at that, where the reds and greens are very close to each other, right in here. That is a potential spot where you can get a spin-up tornado, not a supercell, like embedded within the line of these storms, and specifically on the north side of that bowing segment. So this is all straight line wind, and then you got to watch this area carefully. As for any debris being lofted into the sky in that area, nothing that's super clear. There's a little bit of what almost looks like a hail spike, which means that at some point there may have been something up in the sky there that's blocking the view of the radar off towards the north, but it doesn't appear to be a clear signature of debris, so that is good news. Let's go back to the setup tonight. Why we're seeing the storms where we are. It's because of a bit of a double-barreled low-pressure system. All kinds of storms fired off this top edge. That brought flooding to Wichita earlier today. Now those heavy rain-producing thunderstorms from Springfield, Missouri, all the way down to Fort Smith and southern portions of Oklahoma. However, along the river, you have a warm front, and that has added to the shifting winds, and we also have more instability available in those storms south of the warm front. And so you put all that together, and it is that southern component that keeps the potential for rotating storms and a tornado potential right on through the rest of the night. Tornado watch continues to, at least through the evening, I should say, until midnight. And again, we have those two different supercells that we're watching with a bunch of lightning as well. So here we're getting a little bit closer in. I want to bring you in towards Bogota, Texas. This is the southern storm, and quite the view here. It looks like a little bit of the whale's mouth, a turbulent sky there, where you're getting, you're underneath the supercell, and you're getting that turning over of the winds. And because of that, you're seeing that kind of odd shape to the clouds, that it looks like almost a wave on the ocean. That is a function of being in that turbulent atmosphere, where even the air that's sinking down still has enough moisture and instability that the air that's coming down is also creating clouds, and so you get that kind of wave pattern. That is an area that is underneath a tornado warning that goes until 8:45. We know that there is a rotating wall cloud here, but thanks to spotters in the area, we also know that there's probably not a tornado yet. If you're in Talco, if you're in Bogota, if you're in Red River or Titus counties, this storm is still with you, and a tornado warning continues there until 8:45, because we know we could have a tornado pop at any point.
Fun to drive wherever you go. The first ever CR-V hybrid with all-wheel drive standard. The best-selling CUV over the last decade now comes as a hybrid. From Honda.
Buick and GMC are here to help. For our customers, that means helping you stay at home. That's why we've made it possible for you to shop online with Shop Click Drive, and you may even be able to schedule your certified service appointment online from home. For our healthcare professionals who are doing so much to keep us safe, we are introducing a special discount to thank you for all that you do. These are unprecedented times. Buick and GMC are here to help.
What does it mean to be a good neighbor?
It means being there for each other.
And that's why State Farm is announcing the Good Neighbor Relief Program.
We know that our customers are driving less, which means fewer accidents.
So State Farm's returning $2 billion to auto policyholders for the period ending May 31st.
And we'll continue making real-time decisions to best serve you, our customers.
Because now, more than ever, being a good neighbor means everything. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I wanted more from my COPD medicine. That's why I've got the power of 1, 2, 3 medicines with Trelegy. The only FDA-approved once daily 3-in-1 COPD treatment.
Trelegy, the power of 1, 2, 3. Trelegy, 1, 2, 3. Trelegy.
With Trelegy and the power of 1, 2, 3, I'm breathing better. Trelegy works 3 ways to open airways, keep them open, and reduce inflammation for 24 hours of better breathing.
Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Trelegy is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Think your COPD medicine is doing enough? Maybe you should think again. Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy and the power of 1, 2, 3.
Trelegy, 1, 2, 3.
Save at Trelegy.com.
Staying at home means being online more than ever. Use NordVPN to protect yourself from cyber threats. Get the app today and work from home safely. NordVPN, online security for your private and business life.
In this time of social distancing, when taking a break from everyday life is critical to everyone's health, there is one thing we can all do together. Complete the 2020 census. Your responses are critical to plan for the next 10 years of healthcare, infrastructure, and education. Let's make a difference together by taking a few minutes to go online to 2020census.gov. It's for the well-being of your community and will help shape America's future.
The function of a setting sun and a very strong storm is giving us some really dark conditions here in Talco, Texas. Lightning there almost constantly with a very strong thunderstorm that is under a tornado warning at this point. We've seen this storm produce tornadoes. It does not appear to have one at the moment, but could kind of recycle to that at just about any point. There's a tornado watch that's in place across northeast Texas, southwest Arkansas into northwest Louisiana, goes until midnight. The main show within here is this complex of thunderstorms right down here. And we know that the worst of which is this southernmost storm where we had those views just a second ago. From Talco, Texas, well, my goodness, there is both a rain and a hail core crashing in towards Talco right now. There are some signs that this storm is trying to reorganize with a new area of rotation back towards the south and west. Right in here, this area was the one we were following right over Talco. It is no longer producing any sort of imminent tornado threat. But let's loop this for you, and you can follow that rotation coming in towards Talco. That one may be lifting off, and a new area of rotation may be starting to form on the south side of that supercell. So if you're in Naples, if you're in Mount Pleasant, please watch this storm carefully. No clear sign of debris, although there is some very strong wind and some hail, and that is giving us those different colors on this correlation coefficient. Ray Sajak is in-house, and if there are big storms, he will break into coverage and keep you ahead of the storms.
Now for the special long-range landward forecast, we go over to the BBC Weather Centre in London and Suzanne Charlton.